What is up, y'all? My name is Jerica, but I often go by Mahal. We're back for another episode of T3.
Tea Time Talks. I'm Yona.
Okay, today we got a lot of stuff in store for you.
Yes.
But first, let's get into the tea of the day.
The tea.
Cheers, my love.
Okay, what's the tea of the day?
It is Mugwort and Blue Lotus. I love both of them. For divination, for protection, for astral projection. I think this is something that's super beneficial for the community because it helps people become more conscious and aware of what's happening in their internal world. But it also gives people an extra layer of protection in the outer world, right? Your inner world reflects your outer world. So the more you come into a connection with what's going on the inside, the better your outside looks. So this tea can help in that meditative state. I just need 1 cup of this a day, and I'm good.
And I'm healed.
You can't tell me nothing.
Can't tell me nothing.
How's it taste?
It was hot. I didn't want to burn my taste buds. But I feel like we had mugwort the last time. It's definitely a distinctive taste and distinctive smell, but it did kind of over. That was on my birthday. No wonder that day turned out hot. So to start each episode, we are going to start off with some building blocks cards, at least one for the day. So
You want to pick it?
yeah,
baby.
what's one thing you look forward to doing when you retire?
Breathing. I look forward to just waking up and just breathing. But not just like breathing, just full long breaths. And even in those breaths, just immense gratitude of like, all I gotta do is go to the garden. All I gotta do is make some bread. All I gotta do is water my plants. Like that. But you saw even that breath was like, I feel like when I retire, it's just gonna be
Ease every single day.
longer. Yeah.
Yep.
What about you?
I want to shake my ass on a boat, a yacht specifically, with rich people,
Yeah.
and I need them to pay me my reparations during retirement for being bad and black. And I want to have a garden. I want to go to the elephant sanctuary in Thailand.
Ooh.
That's always been kind of my thing that I wanted to do. So if I don't do it before I retire, I'm doing it after I retire.
Yeah.
I need to hug an elephant in this life. It's important.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
Elephants are healers. Like my grandma, even when I was younger, she sends me elephant stuff. So I have these elephant candles that are like actual elephants and they're like red. I have these she sent me these really cool like wood elephant trinkets. And then she sent me this elephant ring and like the tusk and the legs move.
I think they bridge duality so beautifully. Like they're so gentle, but also like I wouldn't want an elephant to charge me. Like to master gentleness and fuck you up energy. I think that's beautiful. It's just so beautiful. I also noticed our perspective of retired. I'm like, I'm doing all that stuff when I'm active. My retirement, nobody better ask me to leave my house. If I leave my house, it's because I want to.
Right.
There's still so many things that it pulls me outside of the house that I'm like, my retirement days, nobody better ask me
to come out that damn house. Because if I gotta put a wig on and some lashes on to go out the house at the tender age of 85, I don't want to do it.
When do you think you're going to retire?
I have no clue, but hopefully before 85.
Yeah.
I want to retire, I want to have a easy life. Like, I understand the whole, booked and busy thing, but I'm trying to change my mindset with that. Absolutely booked. That's amazing. But I don't want to be busy with it. I want to be booked and luxurious. I want to be booked and, calm, booked and organized.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that with the success that I create in my life, that I'm able to retire long before I'm 60.
Yeah.
Long before I'm even, 50.
Yeah, I'm thinking 45. I'm thinking 45, God is going to say, hey, look, Jerica, you did what I asked you to do.
Yep.
So just live.
Yeah.
Just live. Just watch your tomatoes grow, baby. Just watch them
the
grow.
bugs in the garden.
Just go out there, throw some ginger in the ground. Have fun.
Facts.
Don't worry. We got someone to pick up the grandkids. Don't worry.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm... Lord, please.
Mm-hmm.
Please, let your will be done.
That's how I feel.
And maybe let that be a part of your will. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to have a really, like, easy life. And I know that, like, nothing in life comes easy, but I want to have a more, like, restful life where I'm not chasing... Because, like, the 9 to 5 and all of that is such a rat race that we don't realize how much we're constantly going, how much we're answering to other people. You're giving at least 9 hours of your day to another person, and there's only 24 hours in the day. They also want you to sleep 8. So, how many hours are you actually giving yourself? And, like, with retirement, I want to have that luxury of being like, I'll sleep for 10 hours, not answer nobody for 3 days straight. But it's hard because you're not taught that. And, like, you know, America doesn't, they set you up for constantly having to work, constantly being in the system and the cycle. So I'm ready for it to be done.
Oh yeah, we're part of the new shift. We're part of the new world shift where we create the hours. Evidently, like, work is a part of a working system. Any system, anything that's systematic, there's a work that happens. Even alchemists, like, their creations is called the works, right? And so I feel like as this new world starts to form, the way we define work is gonna change drastically of, like, what we as a community classify work to be. Because if work is having fun and I get to get paid and have fun in everything I do, and I get to feel empowered in everything I do, I'm here. I'm here for the long run until the day I die. Ish.
D-I-E.
Ish. That's the Gemini in me. I'm like, oh yeah, till the day I die. And then I'm like, well.
Yeah, I'm like, well.
Someone can take over that. Just, if I could just sign checks, I'll be happy. Just
sign the checks.
Just sign checks.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's what Beyonce does. She wakes up, has fun, spends time with her family, and just signs checks. Beyonce, if you're watching this, when you do watch this, just maybe a master class of, like,
ebook or something.
Yeah.
Now that's what ebook I will invest in. An ebook.
Tell us if you actually do black magic.
And she actually, honestly, she actually kind of deserves that because Beyonce been
She put in so much work since childhood. Doing
shows, doing all this other stuff.
I can't imagine doing pageants like that. I wasn't a pageant baby, but I watched those episodes on TLC and I'm like, this is not it. This is not it.
Yeah, it couldn't be for me.
But that's our building blocks of the day. Each episode, we really want to do a building blocks. And so, cheers to community.
Cheers.
Boom.
And building. All right, y'all. Some of the things that we're going to be talking about have to do with connection, mindfulness, how being present is important. So let's get into it. So the first question is why being present is essential for emotional and mental well-being.
I really liked this question because I think that it's beneficial in all planes, right? So we talk about just the mental state. You can't change anything in the past, and you can't alter anything in the future, right? None of those things have happened, but the only place that we actually have control is in that present moment. And so control is something that we as a society, we kind of crave, we seek it. Like, I want to be in control of myself. Some people want to be in control of other people, but it really helps that mental well-being when you can maintain that control, right? I love being in control of myself. The only thing that I surrender to is God. And so since there's only 2 points of surrender, how do I maintain self-control? And the only place that I can do it is in the present moment. And I think that's why being present, or at least having practices that help you remain present, is super important on this journey. Because my Gemini ass, I will get mad lingering and thinking of things that happened in the past. It's either angry or worry and anxiety, because if my mind starts going into the future way too much,
right,
I'm like, now I see all the possibilities. And I think that's a benefit that the air signs have, just in general of like seeing all of these possibilities.
A blessing and a curse.
It is. And like the anxiety gets so real of like, okay, it could be minute things that I'm doing in the present. I'm like, if I do this, X, Y, Z happens. And I think that my dad kind of like built that in me of like, think 5 steps ahead, Jerica. Think 5 steps, plan 5 steps ahead all of the time. He's an Aries, right? God of war. So my God of war dad was like, well, this is how you go to war. You think 5 steps ahead of everything. Mm-hmm. And so if I go too far in the future, I start like getting real anxious. And I think that's like that balance and that mental capacity. What about you? How do you maintain presence?
As someone that like dissociates a lot from like trauma, I feel like I'm still kind of working on like being present, but I do like breathing exercises a little bit, but also I started using fidgets like to help me remain like present, so that even if I feel anxious in a situation, I know at least I can focus on my fidget, which helps me focus on being present in whatever that situation is. I don't know how, it just helps me lock in. But being present is extremely hard, just because the way that life is and all of these things that are happening in life, it can be very hard to be present, and we're not really taught how to be present or to be there. We're kind of taught distractions, and we're taught how to cope and coping mechanisms, but I feel like sometimes your coping mechanisms can be a distraction too, and helping you avoid being present.
I think a practice that's been very beneficial is tea and herbs, like breaking it down to the components and then building it together back up and then waiting for it to cool down. All of those things, that might be why I like rolling joints. Well, because it's the practice. It's the practice of it all. It's the process of like slowing down. Things that help me slow down, I love, because I'm naturally at a fast pace. My Gemini brain is like doop, 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 doop.
Yeah.
Like it goes everywhere. So anything that can help me like slow down. And I think that's why I'm an advocate for tea. Go drink you a tea. Now, don't get me wrong, because I'm an advocate, that does not mean that I drink tea every single day. There's rarely anything that I do every single day other than wake up, thank you, Lord. But tea for sure can serve as a mindful practice that I stand by. What teas have you been drinking mostly?
So I drink nettle tea like for my skin. I do have eczema, but nettle tea has been like helping me. Fun fact, so my friend, I have been practicing holistic things since I was like in high school. And I didn't realize them. You know how sometimes you have those aha moments? I swear during retrograde, it is the retrograde right now. You have like these like aha moments. And I was just sitting there thinking like, my friend really taught me about nettle tea and we were 16. And I'm like, hey, I have eczema really, really bad. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm dealing with all these different things. And like, literally she gave me like a jar of it and was like, yeah, steep it for this amount of time, drink it for a week straight and you'll be okay. And I'm like, okay, not thinking nothing of it. And I'm just drinking it, following the instructions. And like, literally when I tell you, even her mom, like, anytime I would say I was sick, she would have like certain things that would help, or tinctures. I didn't even realize what those were. I'm just like taking what they're saying and trusting it. But seriously, herbs, they really do help you stay present. And like you said, it's like you get to separate them and almost be in control of your healing and like be in control of like your destiny in that way too. But I've been drinking a lot of nettle and cranberry like teas, also a lot of peppermint teas for my gut as well.
I love peppermint. Spearmint too. Those ones are so energizing.
What's the difference between spearmint and peppermint?
They're cousins.
Oh.
They're cousins, you know?
But they got like the same benefits?
They're just cousins.
One is a bigger leaf than the other?
Yeah. They do the same thing. But another thing,
one is black,
I've been
one's
working
white.
I've been working on taking but out of my diction. I just posted a video of yes and. So I'm gonna say and. Tea has helped me with breath work. You know, while I'm waiting, and you just
Yeah.
Take that nice whiff. Oh, that integration, that minute integration is really a game changer for the whole day. I think a lot of people in society think that they have to make these big, drastic changes, and it is so simple to make that longevity change with small, minute things. And so breath work at any capacity, right? We're all breathing.
Yep.
Just make you a cup of tea, sip it while it's hot, and that's what's gonna initiate you wanting to slow down. You're gonna burn your tongue and be like, let me slow down.
Yep.
And that's that. That's that. Blue Lotus and Mugwort, relaxation, clarity, deepening your community, deepening your divination, deepening your protection, all of those things. Drink it. That's our dog. Reiki second it. Blue
That's
healer.
the synchronicity.
Yeah, blue healer and border collie, little pup born on February 14th, 2025. It's my Aquarius.
Who else was born on February 14th? Who else is her Aquarius? Me.
I can't, I'm surrounded by them.
Literally.
I love it. I clearly love it.
You cannot dodge Aquarius.
No, I won't.
Every time you'll be like, they're an Aquarius. I'm like,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's right.
We all live in the same house. We're all air signs. Air signs attract air signs.
Your auntie's an air sign?
She's a Pisces.
Oh, okay. Water
Yeah,
sign.
Water sign.
Water
And then-
goes good with air though, because we can go with the ebbs and flows.
Oh, yeah.
But water signs can go with the ebbs and flows of air signs' emotions. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I do think water signs' emotions are a lot. My sister's a Pisces. I love her. I love her so much. I love her so much. I love you, Wowie. But that Pisces energy is a little crazy.
They'd be a little obsessive.
A little? A lot?
And then they don't really know how to manage it because they're like a ball of emotion.
Yeah. It's that up and down, that dual nature. Okay, we're gonna catch you again soon. We're gonna pause here. But the episode's not over.
It's not. Building bridges.
We're out here building bridges. And we're back. And I have an important question. Are you ready for this question? All right. What does community wellness mean to you?
I feel like community wellness is literally getting well with your community. Like, it's pretty literal. I think it's coming together with the people around you and really just trying to heal, whether it's physically, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally. I think that not only do we all need more community, we do need the wellness as well. So those are two good things to tie in together. Community wellness also helps you hold yourself accountable and also allows your community around you to hold you accountable for your wellness journey, your healing journey, and all of that. So yeah, what about you?
Oh my God, my brain goes like super science-y of just creating new neural pathways.
That's true.
I love it. I love it. And my mind does this quantum thing of like things that happen outside happen inside. I keep saying that. I can't not say it. But these interactions, they're all just, it's ATP. And we're all inside of a neural synapses, you know?
Yep.
We're just creating energy together. And so when I think about community and wellness and how important it is, it's like we're literally recreating worlds together. We're changing the dialect, we're changing the energy, the vibration. People are coming into spaces and really feeling like they can be seen, heard, and valued, right? I've been a part of societies where I have to like shut myself down, or I have to dim my light, and I just have to be seen and not heard, right? I grew up with a lot of those things. In school, with family, in different friend groups that I had. And so in our today age, when I'm like, what does wellness look like? It just looks like changing the culture of how we gather, right? And that's all about BRC. BRC is literally doing that, of just changing the culture of just like, it's safe to be checked. You know, there's so many different spaces that someone tries to keep you accountable, and it's immediately like, bro, back up. You know, but I think we're really making a difference to where like, hey, I feel this way. It may not be how you feel. Can we work past it? Can we work through it? And I think those are creating healthy connections with people and places. And I think that's wellness. You touched on it. You were like accountability. And I feel like accountability within the community is so important, right? Because I want to honor how I feel, while still honoring how you feel and not taking anything away from how you feel. Like, you have every right to feel how you feel, and so do I. And I think that level of accountability, along with how it's delivered, is super important. We went through it yesterday. God prepared us for this conversation of like, you know, we're all just out here trying to do our best, and let's figure out how we can all meet in the middle with all the different love languages, and my mind stopped at love language because it was just funny. It's just funny. But communication styles, personality styles, they're all so different. So it's like nothing is big enough to deter me away from just wanting to see you for where you're at and meet you where you're at. And I think that's a big part of community wellness, of like, can we all coexist together without trying to force an opinion on somebody? Yeah.
So like, when, let me figure out how I want to ask this question. So when did you realize that community wellness or like community was important?
When I lost everyone. I lost everyone. I lost everything. All of my friends. My relationships were crumbling. My relationships with my parents were crumbling. God really isolated me, like truly isolated me. I was living very selfishly, very ego-based. I was going out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and if I wasn't smoking, I was drinking. If I wasn't using, I was abusing. And I remember I had moved back in with my mom, and it was a very rainy day. Things were not working out how I wanted it to, and it's like, it doesn't matter what I do or how hard I try, it's just going wrong. Like, I'm in the midst of a tower moment. And I went back in my bed, which wasn't even my bed. I'm like, I want my own bed, I want my own everything, but I don't. I'm dependent on you.
Yep.
And so that was hard for me also. And I screamed to God. I was like, end it. End my life right now. Like it was up to me.
Right.
Like me trying to tell God what to do.
Like it was Bruce Almighty.
Yeah. Like,
and that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I'm screaming up to the ceiling. I'm like, when I go to bed, you better not wake me up. You better take my life. And what I thought it was like, okay, I'm just gonna death by sleep, right? But what ended up happening was literally that version of me died right then.
Ego death.
Yeah, it died right there. And I woke up and I started going to third eye healing every day. Breath work, sound therapy, personal development. I started locking in on the business every single day. I'm out here working on SWOT analysis, everything that my teachers tried to make me do in college. I was like doing it on my own, of like, I'm just gonna do this. This is the only thing that I have to do, because if I focus on anything else, I'm just gonna crumble and cry and stuff my mouth with a lot of food.
Right.
Or I'm gonna go back to doing nasty shit with a lot of people. And I don't wanna do that either.
Because one thing about it, letting them spirits get in you.
So
them demons.
That's
for
when I
real.
realized, I was like, I really need to start changing myself.
Yeah.
I had no one else to blame. I had no one else. So the only person to blame was me, because I was sitting there by myself.
Yep.
Yep, that's my story.
It's definitely, I feel like we all gotta hit rock bottom before we're like, damn, maybe I do need community. Or like, maybe I do need to ask for help. I feel like I was extremely hyper independent. And honestly, it was like, I always wanted to be a part of a community, but I wasn't taught to be a part of a community. Like, I was taught that everybody around me, you can never trust any of them, and they probably all want to fuck you over. And that was kind of like how I was moving in life, because I'm only going off of like my caregivers, like perceptions of life that they're putting onto me and projecting onto me. So like, I really had to start branching out and finding my own community, but then they don't teach you what healthy community looks like. So you're finding community, but you're around people that are literally preying on your downfall, helping you with your downfall, or everything in between. And so I'm like, okay, I didn't ask for community, but I wasn't specific about the community that I wanted. And so like, once I started getting more specific is like when I met you guys, because I was like, I just barely been like in the scene and like, you know, going out and stuff. And it was a year it was a year of meeting so many people that did not have good intentions for me, or like, you know, it was a year of like meeting people that were really like wolves in sheep's clothing, and almost like your segment about like snakes in the garden and like snakes in your grass.
I do be talking about snakes.
Every single like part of it, every single snake that you talked about, they all were something that I was experiencing, or you know, still currently experiencing, but at the end of my karmic lesson, the cycle. But really, community is extremely important, because who else is gonna like when you can't do it or you can't pull yourself out? Who else is gonna pull you out? Who else is going to hold you accountable, even if your community is one other person? Like, community doesn't have to be this big thing. But I think that there needs to be more talk about what healthy community looks like and how important community actually is, especially in the Black and Brown community, because we need it the most right now. Out of everything else, we need community more than anything else. And it needs to be community where it's not like, oh, I can do this for you, so you can do this for me. Transactional community, I feel like that's a lot of modern, like how everybody moves now is like everything's transactional. Like if I'm able to give you $100, then I'm gonna be around you. Or if you're able to give me $100, then I'm gonna be around you. That's so wrong. Like it affects you for real. But yeah, community is extremely important.
The word humble came to my mind listening to you. And I feel like a big part of healthy community is humble. And this word, like I understood it. I knew the Webster dictionary, but I didn't really start digging into it until my brother came home from Japan, and he didn't look at me. He sent it in text message. It was like, "You're not humble." And I was like, "Oh."
He said he had his realization in Japan and it was your time.
I said, "Okay." So then immediately I was like, "You're wrong about me." But then I'm like, I'm dismissing how someone's feeling and their perspective. Again, it doesn't define me, but how can I show up in this moment? Like, what are you trying to teach me? And I feel like God was trying to teach me to dive deeper in the word humble, and understanding the word humble can help strengthen the community that I'm building with my friends and family. And so I think a part of a good, healthy community is understanding that you can't do everything. I can't do everything, and I'm not meant to do anything. And saying that is real humbling, because as a Black woman in America, I'm gonna get it done with or without you. There's this strong essence of independence of like, I need to do this alone, because if I don't do it alone, I'm weak.
And we equate being alone to being powerful, but you're more powerful with community.
We're stronger together.
Like, for real, you're more powerful with community.
Together.
What I was gonna say is, I feel like ego and humbleness go together, and like ego and community go together. And I had to learn that too, is that like when you have too much of an ego is an important and essential part of who you are as a person.
A trained ego.
Yes.
Not an untamed ego.
A healthy ego. And all of that. And I had to learn that, and I'm still learning that. But I think that more people got to learn about their ego, and more people got to learn about community and all of that.
Yeah, I feel like your ego is the gateway to shining your star, your God-given gift. That's the vehicle your like sun rays go. Like but you can also burn somebody deeply with it. But if that vehicle has the right gas in it and the oil's changed and all I'm not a car person, so I'm not gonna act like I know all those things. Those are the oil change,
those
car
are basics, and
you
the
can
seatbelt
rotate
working.
your tires, right? You rotate your tires. If your vehicle is fine-tuned, then how you express your ego on the runway, poetry, singing, expression, self-expression, all of those things, it's healthy. But if you ain't changed your oil and you stink booty crack, like, it's gonna be bad. And it's gonna come off the wrong way. There's a lot of people that ain't putting the right gas in their vehicle.
Absolutely.
I'm allowed to say that. This is
nobody
my podcast
wants to smell
too.
like booty crack.
No one wants
Get
booty
up and
crack
wash that
ego.
ass.
Wash that ass.
AKA wash that ego. Maintain that ass crack, please.
If you haven't changed your oil, this is your reminder. Go change your oil.
If you have not spread between them cheeks,
I'm pretty sure we gotta go change our oil. Jiffy Lube has a discount right now. It's like $34. Jay told me.
You seen that video, the trend where it's like doing everything but getting an oil change, and it's and it's like all the videos combined, like exactly.
Oh my god!
Go get that oil change, aka fix that ego. I had to learn that for real. I started reading a book about like mastering emotions, and the first chapter is about ego. The first 2 pages, he's like, you need to figure out your ego because it will ruin things for you. So it's important.
Don't leave. We're coming right back. So all this talk is like fine and dandy, right? But the nitty gritty of building community is releasing resistance. You know, at the end of the day, we can lie to ourselves and say we're not being resistant, or we can like show evidence that we're actually letting go of control and surrendering to divine flow, whatever divine flow that looks like. I think everyone's is pretty different, but what is one time that you know that you let go of control? For the better.
For the better. I feel like, honestly, recently, like, I feel like I do a lot of like thinking, and like even if a situation or whatever is done, like I'll do a lot of thinking about it and ruminating about it and lamenting about stuff, and that's also not letting go, because you still repeatedly thinking about it is not letting it go either. You're still holding on to that energy. So I feel like recently I've literally been surrendering everything. Like everything is out of a lot of things are out of my control that I've been stressing about. So I feel like recently has been my moment of being like, you know what, I'm not gonna stress. Heart disease is a top killer in Black women and in the Black community, but mainly in Black women. So I'm like, I'm too cute to stress. So no, recently I feel like is when I started like letting go.
Okay.
Because I feel like the more that we're in control or trying to be in control, the less that the situation can just play out, or the less that you can continue to keep like reading the book. You trying to keep stopping at each chapter, like, oh, let me make sure I annotate each page. Like, just get through the chapter. Annotate after.
I needed that message.
Yeah.
Because I'll be the main one, like, oh, I'm circling that.
Yup. Trying to go through every detail.
Yeah.
Like, just let the book play out.
So when do you notice when you're forcing something? Like, what are key signs that you know when you're forcing something to happen?
One, I started listening to my intuition more. So, like, if my intuition makes me feel, like, consistent. Because, you know, sometimes when we're unaware of something, or, like, when we have ignorance about certain things, we do feel a little anxious about them. But like when my intuition is repeatedly making me feel anxious about something, or making me feel uncomfortable or unsafe in those situations, and then I'm just like, so that's when I know I'm forcing, or when I have to start like repeating things multiple times, and like having to consistently set boundaries, or consistently say a certain thing, or consistently act a certain way and step out of character. That's when I know I'm forcing things, because anything that's for me will allow me to 100% be myself. And be able to sit in my calmness, and be able to sit just regular without having to step out of character. And I feel like a lot of the time I was forcing things because, you know, anxiety makes you feel like you want to be in control to know the outcome of the situation. That's how we feel like we have that control. But yeah, letting go is important. What about you?
I know when I'm forcing things when I start to tell someone else how to behave.
Yep.
That's for me. I'm forcing it now. Like, I'm telling you exactly what to do.
Exactly.
Now, work is different because I'm the president. It's my job. I'm just doing my job. But in like any other situation with friendship, personal relationships, in my marriage, I shouldn't be telling you step by step what to do. And if I am, then I'm forcing you to do something, and it's not coming from inside. And so those are my key things of like, if I have to step by step say exactly what to do, then it's not natural.
Yeah.
It's not natural for me. But when I'm flowing, And when I'm in my flow state, in my friendships, in my relationships, in my marriage, or with the kids, we're in flow state, the conversations just flow. And it's like God is placing answers in everyone. So when everyone has an idea and executes their idea, then I'm in flow state. But if I'm still the only one with the thinking cap on, then I'm in a different role of manipulation, and I just don't want to exist there. Like, I think power comes with community, and true power in community is allowing everyone's God-given gift to shine, and everyone has a brain. It's not just up to the air signs, guys.
Yep.
The ideas don't just come from the air signs. And I've been seeing that, like, Virgos are really good people that can, like, get things done too and have really great ideas. And they're also pretty calm. Virgos are pretty calm too when it comes to getting things done. And I appreciate that so much.
And they're organized.
They're organized, yeah. Yeah. And then there's Taurus, right? I love my Taurus mom. I love my Taurus mom. I love my Taurus mom. They get things done. They're so passionate. They're so heart driven. Like, they do everything with their heart and a little chaotic. They're the more chaotic sign. But are they the mutable sign?
I don't know.
Are you a mutable sign?
I don't know what that means.
Oh, so there's fixed signs, right?
Yeah.
And then there's mutable signs. You're, yeah.
Virgo's a fixed sign.
No, Taurus.
I mean, Taurus?
Yeah.
You're a Taurus.
Our
I think you were
producer
a
is a
Virgo.
Taurus. And then there's the cardinal signs that can flip-flop. They're the switches of the community. I thought mutable signs were the flip. I don't know. But I know that Aquarius is a fixed sign.
And is.
You'll look at someone and immediately know that they're an Aquarius.
Yep.
How did you know? You're a fixed sign. All the fixed signs, I can tell. Leo, I know you're a Leo.
I can tell when a Leo is a Leo.
Tell a Leoing.
I'm like looking at a lion every time. Like, oh my goodness. Even if there's somebody super small, I'm like, yeah, you're a Leo. They step into their power though. They hold their power very well if they know how to control their ego.
Okay, let's hop back on topic. How do you surrender to divine time? Like, what are 3 things that you can practice or do practice that help you surrender to divine time? Like, things don't happen in your time, but they happen when they are meant to happen.
Today was a day that I decided to surrender. Today was the day I decided to surrender to divine timing. No, I kid you not. All of this has been recent. I think I've experienced another ego death in the last week or so. I think since 2025, I kid you not, I tweeted this, like, I've had 7 ego deaths. So it's like all these things that I'm learning.
You need to give yourself a little bit more credit.
I know.
Okay, well, let me finish. Because I think you're doing it right now with your living situation. You move out when?
I'm supposed to move on the 7th of April.
Okay, and what is today?
The 4th.
You're giving that to God. That is you giving that to God, because this is not even packed.
I haven't done nothing. I don't even know.
So I think that you are functioning in divine time.
Yeah.
Because you really Lord, however this happens, it's gonna happen, and when it happens, because I don't know when it's gonna happen, because I'm not ready.
Yeah, I feel like I've been more into tarot. There's this great reader. Her name is the 8th House Empath. When I tell you this, the first reader where I ever felt fully connected, and literally her readings are so accurate. But she was saying that, and she always talks about how are you gonna try to take the cake out the oven and it's not even baked yet? And divine timing, how are you gonna complain about the cake not being baked? But you didn't even leave it in there long enough. So I have to think about that, because again, it goes with control. Divine timing is I understand. And then she talks about how, a lot of the time we want something to happen, but because it doesn't look how we wanted it to, we give up or we feel like it's not happening for us. So I'm learning that, because there's so many times where I'll just be like, I said what I wanted. I said my intentions. I put my intentions out there. I'm trying to do good. And things will come up, and I'm just like, man, it's not how I wanted it to be. So maybe it's not for me, or maybe it's not aligned. But divine timing.
Divine timing. If you want to practice divine timing, practice your road rage, right? I think that's a really good practice that we can all do to work on divine timing.
Absolutely.
I live and breathe for it. And it's a daily practice for me because I do like things to go a certain way, but I realize I have to shift my perspective and shift my mind because I gotta do it right now.
Just take it down.
Oh.
I got so distracted. I'm like, are you sign languaging something to me? And I'm not looking. I'm sorry.
I was like,
okay. It's a mindset shift for me to live in divine time. I have to understand when things don't go my way, they're going God's way. And then once I make that neural connection of like, if it doesn't go my way, I know that it's going God's way. And God's way is the best way. It's going to work out better than I expect it to in the long run with this discrepancy. So I kind of have to like ease myself and be really patient with myself because I do know I can be very strict on myself and the people around me when it comes to getting things done accordingly. But I even started doing it on itineraries of like the program that we had at the fashion show. I don't know if you noticed, but I only put like key times. Everything else, you gonna flow with it because I don't know what's gonna happen.
yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen.
You were like that in the mixer too.
Yeah.
The
I'm like,
mixer.
you know,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen when it happens. But major mindset shift. That Blue Lotus for me is kicking in. I'm cup 2.
I'm still on cup 1. Letting it breathe and rise. What the shirt say?
Elevate your essence.
What the other one say? Rise and
Rise and
what is it? What?
ride and rise.
Ride and rise.
Yeah,
It didn't have nothing to do with the tea. I thought it was supposed to be something.
but some good teas and some good teas. Jasmine, lavender with vanilla. If you're working on letting go of resistance, those teas and those blends can help you maintain internal harmony and peace on that journey of letting things go. Earth signs, fire signs, you gotta let that go. Water signs and air signs have a little less resistance with it because of how fluid we are. But fire signs, look, if you're a fire sign, drink that tea, please. If you're earth sign, drink the tea blend. It's gonna help you on this journey because for some reason, it's just a little bit harder for you guys to let things go. And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
And we're just saying what it is. It's a little hard to make those changes.
They move slow. But I think they move slow in everything though. So that's kind of why letting go is slow for them too, because they move slow deciding. So they're kind of stuck on it after that. Yeah.
It is what it is. Just drink the tea.
Just drink the tea. Period. All right, y'all. That was T3 with Yona.
And Mahal.
Big Mahal, not the little one. And thank you so much for tuning in and helping us build community, being a part of our community. We absolutely love you guys. And up next for next week, whenever the next podcast is, not next week, but up next, we are going to be talking about taking care of self and how to give to others and what that looks like.
Yeah, buddy. See you later. Bye. We did it!
Yay!
Yay, guys! We did it. We did it.